some of the history for these two teams, and there's a lot more data to go off for Daystar since the end of 2025. They have played it 10 times, 6-4 record. Psych and Company, nothing on record as of yet. So that could be a slight upper hand. Maybe they can try and catch Daystar out early here on defense.
All right, let's get on the way. Lair is waiting for us. Daystar have got a 6-4 record on this map. Last win was a week ago against Fury 7-5. Psych and Company, no record of this map whatsoever. So we're going to see what they've got against a top 2 team in the region on a map that we've never seen them play. This is a big one. Can Psych and Company pick up any points against Daystar in their own quest for top 4? And to put it blunt, guys, if you want to go all the way for the Esports World Cup, you need to be beating teams like Daystar. It's one thing to qualify for top 4, but if you can start to knock on the door of taking down the top 2 teams in this region, you might just have a chance come finals.
Yeah, it is only best of 1, so not going to take too much away from this matchup, but I will agree that that storyline development could be very intriguing if there is a world in which Psych can walk away the victors in this matchup, albeit in overtime. The regulation would be even more astounding. I think the biggest takeaway from me, holistically, for that would be that Weibo are just way ahead of everyone, and they're going to claim the slot pretty easily. If Daystar are faltering in these kind of matchups, it doesn't give me a ton of confidence. Again, best of 1, not hugely impactful, so I don't read too much into it, but it would certainly raise a massive red flag that despite them currently being even with Weibo right at the very top, it's been a flawless stage for them so far. Maybe the gap is still quite large between themselves and Weibo. Of course, we do get a little bit better insight to that in the final playday next week. It's the last game of the group stage, Daystar and Weibo, before they potentially take one another on in that finals bracket. Could potentially be as well in that grand final. And with just the one slot on the line now in Asia for stage 1, it will be a potentially critical matchup, but they still have to get there. And for Psyken on the flip side, still biding their opportunity to make it inside of the top 4. Currently, they are 5th, just losing out on the head-to-head currently against Team Orchid on equal round differential and 9 points. A win here tonight would certainly go a long way in helping them in their campaign. They take on Soul's Heart as well in that final play day, and depending on how Soul's Heart shape up tonight, the implications of that match could be quite important as well. So it's like going to have a big 2 best of 1s coming up here, and they'll be looking to hit some good form. I think we've seen positive enough signs for them over the course of this potential stage, but it's just so compact and so competitive that they need to be on from the very start here.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Feed active.
Yeah, last night Daystar were emphatic. They had their best win of the stage, 7-1 over HL Torre, and they were as clinical as kind of, I guess, we wanted them to be. It was the one thing missing on the, probably on the resume for this stage, was a really, really dominant result. And then Weibo went and quite literally did them one better with a 7-0 against Fury. I mean, I think even in that Orchid game, for me, Psych and Company looked really good. I mean, Neon is clearly someone to keep an eye on moving forward in this region. He's been sensational this stage, putting up big numbers. He was probably their best player in that game. Seal gets the opening kill onto Calf. That's not the start that you want, though, when you're Psych and Company here on Lair. This is the side that you want to be getting rounds on. And to give up that opening kill, not great. They do get a trade back through Joe Gore. He's been struggling this stage. But at the very least, 4v4 here on the top floor.
Yeah, it's been a little rough for him. Souffle has certainly taken the mantle as most impactful player for Daystar. Despite a rough start here in the opening round, he has by far and away been the best on their team at the moment in collecting numbers. Over a 2 KD currently heading into the night. 73% entry and an impressive 76% cost, which puts him in the upper echelons of the region currently. But Daystar unable to rely on him now for the remainder of this opener. 4 versus 4. All the critical utilities still remaining here for Psyken, namely the triple combo that they have for Area and Plantanar with the Echo, Chanka, and Smoke. So we'll see how Daystar look to go about breaking this down.
And one thing I'd love added to this game, guys, is some kind of yokai counter on the Echo. Oh, hang on. Speaking of Yokai, perfectly timed, and that's going to get denied. And he's going to just go for it again because the flames aren't connecting.
Of
course, Syken are aware of this, but Feng is dead, so no more flames to arrive. There's the gas bait from Neon. That's going to connect though. Well, Azuki has brute forced that plant through a gas bait, a Shamika launcher, and a Yokai. Never seen that before.
Pros don't fake. 30 seconds now for the retake here for Syken. Failing to deny that plant, but they do now have a player advantage.
It's actually very winnable because they got no one playing breach outside. They got nothing here to actually deny except for Yao down below medical. He's the offshoot that can really deny late. Onto the kick goes Neon. Oh yeah, have you got the angle? Yeah, you do. Wait, whoa, hang on. I thought for a second if he hadn't got that counter defuse and those bullets weren't registering, I think he would have been very upset. Round goes the way of Daystar. They successfully attack into the top floor. Bit of a strange round. And not one that, you know, usually pans out in that fashion. Again, the Yokai, the gas bait, the Shamika launcher, nothing stopping him from getting that plant.
Yeah, the utilarian there wasn't great. The effectiveness of the Echo was also not quite on point there. Maybe just some initial nerves there from Syken failing to execute. They were in a pretty good position, but they'll be annoyed that that round didn't quite go their way. Daystar showing good resilience. As we have a look back, Joe Gore found a nice equalizer with that jump out, and then in the post did some nice damage, but the round was already lost prior to that particular highlight. Now vertically down below having impact, and there wasn't much K3 could do about it, then pressured horizontally from Ops.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
We'll see the response now. Down to basement. Should reiterate as well the bands Kaid, Clash, Capital, and they didn't quite catch the fourth in time. There was the Monty. So what kind of an impact that may have. The utilarian from the Capital can be pretty devastating on a couple of these sites from teams that know how to utilize it well. Top 4 certainly comes to mind, but even Dorms as well.
5 seconds left before insertion.
In complementary with the Sense, so we'll see how Daystar look to pivot around that. It's looking like a roam initially here from the defense that they'll have to contend with.
I think Syken Company, you know, for me, are they just, you know, Joe Gore getting back to his very best away from being a real contender in this region. And Neon's been a really, really big pickup. But Joe Gore has had probably his worst stage of his career so far. Sitting at the moment 27th out of 41 on the rated EPS metrics. Going negative at 27.38, so he's more often than not, you know, somewhat letting his team down as someone who, of course, burst onto the scene as a top fragger.
Reload!
I guess in this match, in this game, Syken haven't really played Lair. Daystar have actually got quite a lot of games on this map. They look pretty proficient already to begin. A little bit less pressure. Suki. No, not quite. Keep a barrier, blocks off any swing onto Joe Gore. He's aware of the presence, though, towards the yellow stairs. And back down goes Suzuki after showing a little bit of contact. Daystar are getting a little aggressive down here in basement. Are Syken ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, they've withstood the early pressure here pretty well. They'll be in a position to peel and layer a lot of util late. Triple smoke, even a razor bloom. That could be a pretty flex late and used reactively to the push. Some of this vert is concerning though. You can see it is compromising the ability for some of these anchors to feel safe. If Daystar can ensure they strike with the right timing here, that's where they can maybe catch an anchor or two off with that vert pressure. Clearly, Syken aware of it. It's up to Daystar to kind of put them in a position where there's not a whole lot they can do to deal with it. Good work there. As Feng falls, Azuki elsewhere confirms the kill onto Thorn, and they fall. They timed it perfectly. Ooh, at least a denial on offer here for Syken, but a 1v4, which won't be a success. Daystar take round 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little rough to start when you're losing top floor the way that you did. It should have been a winnable round for Syke and Company. Second round as well, then on basement. I mean, just too much of the map already given over to the attack. That's somewhat the way that Daystar played yesterday. Think back to that game on Labs and how aggressive they were on their attacking side of Labs. So I went into that game thinking, well, maybe that was going to be difficult for Daystar to pick up a lot of rounds and win, you know, in that 7-1 fashion that they did, simply because they started on the attack. It didn't bother them at all. And right now, it's not bothering them here against Syke and Company. I like the early tactical timeout. 2 rounds gone. You've clearly gotten the memo. Right now, Daystar are playing some really good Siege. They're aggressive. They're happy to get in your face. They take map control. They're executing site really nicely. And Syke and Company need to shift gears a little bit. I imagine you go back top floor now. You didn't win basement. You're not going tertiary here. There's no point going Bunks briefing. Surely not. You go back top floor. Maybe you change up your strategy a little bit. The only thing would be if they really want to ban something away. But quite frankly, I don't think there's enough that was brought by Daystar in that opening round to suggest, yeah, we want to, you know, we want to get rid of the buck. Like, I just don't think that's something you should do. But they are actually going Bunks briefing. Wow.
Yeah, look back at that last round. A pretty classical example there of Daystar being able to layer a lot of pressure horizontally and vertically, isolating the defense one by one. They were in positions then to trade. Ultimately, Plant was denied, but with so many isolated fights elsewhere being incredibly damning, it really didn't mean a whole lot. Over to Dorms then we go. Syken. Yeah, they go to the tertiary as opposed to rotating back to the primary. We'll see how they ultimately do shape up here. They do have the Solace, so pretty traditional hold above, bit of catch as well to maybe try and catch the projectile util that can be laid on the site as well. Sense will be selected here from Daystar, so they're going to give themselves the option and the opportunity to try and go direct here. Again, though, without the Capital and even the Monty by extension with Turtle Plant potential now no longer being an option, it is a little more high risk naturally here from Daystar. They do bring the Blitz, I suppose, though, as an ability to counteract that and still go for a single pattern. And of course the direct hard breach from the Thermite once they get green control. See how active Syken like to play, particularly horizontally for the green denial, or if they are willing and happy to let that control go away. Interestingly, Jogor here is playing weapon side as opposed to above on the Solace. This is going to be the kind of position where if Jogor dies, he looks a little silly, but with the Blitz on the board, he can offer a bit of information, and he does know where the push is now posturing from, so as long as he retains his life, he's actually done a pretty good job here.
I think one of the things Syke and Company can try and do the most here on layer is slow the pace down. Bunks briefing doesn't really achieve that, though, if you're giving up green. I like the pressure towards green that they're kind of just showing nice and early in the round, rather than playing one more towards the actual site itself and looking to just, you know, put a little bit more of a stopgap in place. You know, just the way that Calf is positioned, same with Jogor on the Solace. I think there's actually a better way to sort of deny this Sen's Blitz rush attempt, instead of just putting all your eggs in the basket of denying from the vert. And I'm actually noticing now Yao's going upstairs. Daystar might sense there's a little too much pressure on this first floor. Let's go and try and take above.
Yeah, we'll see if that works out, though. There's another stack of time remaining here. Daystar may lock themselves into the commit. And with Jogor now positioning back up above with the Soul Skin, the plan will be a challenge.
So unlucky.
It is a little bit. Big kill from Souffle. ROU's deployed, as evident from Jogor, who now has a key role in looking to deny this plant. Hasn't been attempted just yet, and the Warden activates to find an advantage. But it's not very long-lasting. Daystar 4 versus 2.
And they just didn't have enough bodies, because when they're going for the plant, Pika's gone up above, and everyone's just too busy looking at the floor. I mean, it's just really well played from Daystar. They just completely read that one to a T. They knew for a while, we show a little bit up above and then go for the plan. Everyone starts to look back down towards the floor. The Solace is on Gadget. They're trying to play off that. It's understandable. That's just usually the way you'll play it. But then Pika has the wherewithal to keep putting the pressure on horizontally on the top floor. Daystar have played that to perfection. I mean, they just genuinely outplayed Psych and Company in that round. The one small thing that I don't think Psych and Company did too much wrong was just the shoulder peek at the doorway. Calf just catches an unlucky timing on the headshot spray, and once he goes down, that really gave them the green light to hit site and begin the execute. Plus, couple that with the pinch that they provided up on the top floor. 3-0 for Daystar, and this is not great for Psych and Company for two reasons. Number one, you lose this game and you lose it in a bad fashion. That's round differential, so that needs to be spoken about. If you're going to lose the game, that's not the end of the world, but the round differential is going to play a factor potentially. And number two is even if you do make finals, what's going to really change them when you come back around and have to play the likes of Daystar or Weibo? And you're putting up something like this. So they're going to have to really kick into gear quickly. Now they finally go back top floor. They decide to get rid of the Dockerby, but they also now lose the mirror. Not that they played it in the opening round, but just no longer an option. So the main switch up now, they bring Calf onto the Grismot, onto the Ella, who has the Grismots. And they drop the Echo completely because, well, it didn't do much last time.
Yeah, so far it seems as if the gap between these two is maybe as significant as we probably first were inclined to think. Again, Syken in Play Day 1 had their match against Weibo, only got the one round on that occasion, and if this result ends up being just as dominant, bodes well for Daystar, at least in their ability to take down lesser opponents. Probably not going to make too much of a dent in the storyline regarding the top fight for the spot here at EWC, but does give some kind of guidance that they truly are the two most dominant teams, and by some margin. Certainly a wake-up call early for Syken early, who have been read like a book by Daystar. I don't think they've really particularly played too poorly on defense or anything like that. It's been a case of Daystar with so much more experience and confidence in having a really good read on their opposition. They've hit some good timings. That's been the biggest the difference maker really between the two, and one of the big positives for them in these first three rounds. Their timing on these hits and their ability to split the attacks has been a real handful to deal with. Minute down in this round, bit of upside pressure early here from Daystar. Syken looking to reposition accordingly out on the black bed, and range hardbreeds to follow here if Daystar eventually shape up for the default hit.
Well, this is good nurse control established out. Not getting a lot of help up main stairs. He's actually just doing this himself. Usually this takes two, maybe even sometimes three players to establish this level of control. Even gets out of gas bay from Kaysan. Don't know when Jogor used that nitro cell. I might have missed it when I was looking at some statistics, but he used it very early into the round, unless it's a pre-place, which means Neon has got the soul nitro cell remaining. And even though there's only 60 seconds left, once you got this Mez control, the timer doesn't matter as much. Do still want to, of course, get this entry in towards Mask opened up. They find the kill on to Calf. There goes the Yalla, and there's another opening kill for Daystar. Make it 4 straight. Well, I really anticipated this was going to be a match that, even if Daystar were heavy favorites, would be a little bit more combative and a little bit more equal. Syken Company, you've got 30 seconds to try and salvage things here on this top floor. Fan can't hit it at all on the Tachanka. They don't even need to plant. They've got 30 seconds. It's only Jogor left. This is about to be flawless. If he can't swing, hit a headshot. And he's just getting peppered. Forced to drop down briefing. That's not the site. You can't park there. Flawless again from Daystar. 4 straight. They've already used the timeout for Syken Company. And on a map that's 57% defensive win rate in the region, most played map as well, by the way. So in terms of sample size, it's the best you can offer. Everything's suggesting this one's probably done. Daystar have just put on such a dominant display in this attacking half.
Yeah, both Souls Hard and Team Awkward will be watching this match pretty intently. If Syken eventually do go on to lose this match, and the way it's shaping up at the moment, it could be very lopsided. That is going to be to their benefit.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Syken will need to pick themselves up for next week. Big match against Souls Hard, and that also is going to probably be quite a challenging duel for them. So far here on Lair, they haven't quite looked up to the task. Daystar are a formidable team, and to their credit, they're playing like it so far, giving very little opportunities to Syken. They've been comprehensively playing the map. 4 entries into 4 conversions. Last 3 rounds have had 4 or more players alive. It's been comprehensive, and unfortunately this rotation hasn't seemingly made too much of a dent for the defense in generating some new ideas and some counterplay. We've returned to basement, and in terms of the lineup here from Daystar, it is fairly similar. Although the inclusion of the Glaz, well, it's actually not that fairly similar. They have the Glaz in play, so probably looking to get active horizontally. Yao convert on the Deimos, and Flores as well for the util clearance as opposed to the Twitch. Both the Striker and the Ram will remain a constant, as Syken look to lurk around the map and snatch an entry.
Even most concerning with this is, you know, it's not just 4-0, but you look at the rounds 4 alive, flawless. These rounds haven't been close. Hey, Yao's only got the 1 kill, but one thing he's actually really done a great job for Daystar is just taking a lot of map space, getting into good early positions, forcing defenders back. It's sometimes you don't, you know, Siege is the kind of game sometimes you just look at the KD numbers and think someone's either done well or bad based off that. But he's won 2, and I tell you what, he's played really, really well in the first 4 rounds as a team player. It's hard to, you know, put that onto the screen, but yeah, definitely want to give him the props there. 3v3, so a little bit better here from Syken Company. Azuki 9-0 has well, being a benefactor of all the space being created by others, and he's got the kills.
Yeah, and some of the vert potential now certainly limited for Daystar. They'll be playing into the 3 gas babes of the defense as well. So this is quite a strong setup for Syken to play around in their efforts to try and get a round on the board. Daystar may elect to go for a filtration stack here. They can layer a bit of utility, and this is where Souffle on the Glaz is probably the biggest win con here for Daystar, and being able to either facilitate entry and or cover that plant attempt.
And the gas babes are nice, and you do have a couple of golden canisters. Here comes Kaysan though, good clear onto Azuki. Wasn't expecting the push, and no one there for the trade. Well, this might be their best opportunity. Well, yeah, most definitely their best opportunity to win a round here in the first half. Souffle, of course, trying to play off the Glaz. He's got 1 more smoke in pocket. Time starting to dwindle. Pika playing behind. Double push, stop. Need the next kill desperately. Won't really have the space to go for a plant, you would imagine. Pika goes down. It's all up to Souffle. And it seems like Syken Company have done enough as the time expires. It will be 4-1. 1 more round to go in the half.
Yeah, they've done a nice job there to take down both the Deimos and the Ram first, 2 of the more influential operators outside of maybe the Glaz in that particular setup. It limited the vert potential. It meant that they looked far more comfortable onside anchoring as opposed to last time out. And then some good proactive play vent side as well. Just complicated things, got it down to the 2 versus 3. And from there, Syken doing a good job to consolidate that position and didn't look afraid in converting it. Entry went the way of Azuki, so it was once again the entry to Daystar, but the fight back was good. That push forward there from Kaysan was absolutely on point, and he kind of followed that up for the remainder of the round as well, so credit to him.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
1 more round here for Syken on defense, and surely if they are to stand a chance in the second half, they need the buffer of this second round.
Yeah, I mean, it's already probably a case of too little too late, but give yourself a chance if you can get this second round on defense. Who knows what you can maybe do on the attack. It was a game of two halves. Even if statistically Lair has been favoring defense in this region, you just never know. But 2 rounds in a row, tiny glimpse of momentum and hope going into the halftime role swap. You know, you get another chance to speak with your coach and kind of just reset mentally.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
There's 5 straight opening kills. Interestingly, though, only the 1 plant from Daystar, but one of those kind of games where they've just been, you know, wiping out Psych and company so easily that they've never really needed to plant.
I think, as well, I'm just keeping a really close eye on the standings. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is still potential for the 3 teams locked on 9 points at the moment to still finish on the exact same points at the final play day. So round differential could still be a critical factor. So Sycan need to ensure that they don't give up at any point. Quite literally, every round could be super important. Even if they lose this game, they need to make sure it's not a huge blowout.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I said before. Round differential as well plays a factor. Even if they can just bring this back to like a 7-4 kind of loss, that can help. You definitely don't want to be losing this 7-1, 7-2 in that sort of frame. If you can get it at least a 7-4, 7-5 and you do fall short, that's not the end of the world. But if I'm going to be completely blunt, the second half is going to be very difficult for them. Obviously, Sycan can lose this game, stay on 9 points, beat Soul's Heart, go to 12. This round's over, by the way.
Yeah, not exactly the best caster curse.
No, not quite. It won't be flawless, courtesy of Kaysan, who's got himself up to 5 kills. Yeah, I mean, after last night, we saw quite a lot of these sort of rounds, guys. A lot of the one-sidedness, a lot of the, you know, brutality. We've done predominantly most of OS this region, this stage. We haven't seen this kind of stuff. 2 nights of Asia, and this is all we keep seeing. Just beatdown after beatdown. Daystar putting the foot on the throat. They go 5-1 up into the half. Well, they started shining bright here on Lair. 5-1 lead. They have been emphatic. They've done literally nothing wrong, guys. 6 straight opening kills. Plant down twice in the opening half. 2 multi-kill rounds. They had a flawless. They had 3 rounds that they won with 4 alive. They only dropped a single round, which was basement in round 5. And even that was close towards the end of the round. Only 2 left up for Psych and Company. It was a 3v3. You couldn't really have asked for much more on their attacking side of Lair. It's actually pretty much identical to what we saw from them last night against HL Tour Esports on Nighthaven Labs, where they went 5-1 in that first half on the attack. They, of course, closed out the 2 defensive rounds to win 7-1. But in that match, we kind of expected it. I don't think we were expecting this against Syke and Company.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I felt like this was a potential outcome with a blowout, given how strong the top 2 have been. But there was always that shadow of doubt that Daystar wouldn't, in this kind of matchup, be able to do a Weibo-esque performance and dominate their opposition. But at least so far, that has absolutely been the case. And heading on to defense now, I don't really see much of that narrative really shifting. So credit to them. They've played well. They've made very, very, very few mistakes. And Syken just outclassed, really, in this matchup. Again, they haven't... There's been a couple of errors here or there, of course, but it hasn't been particularly egregious. They've just been outmatched, and a good learning experience for them, and a bit of a wake-up call, I suppose, to some extent. And they'll be, of course, setting their sights on that final playdate shortly. But as mentioned before, and it could come back to bite them, this particular matchup, if they don't close this gap from here. And the likes of both Orchid and Soul's Heart, who they currently are drawn on with point, and currently already trailing by 3 rounds in terms of the differential, at least to the top of Soul's Heart, this could prove very, very costly. A big blowout here could mean that at the end of that final playdate, if the results shake out in such a way that they continue to be on a tie, or if there's a tiebreaker that needs to be decided between 4th and 5th position, it's important to reiterate that it is round differential. That is the first tiebreaker. It is not head-to-head. So getting smashed here tonight compromises them big time. And unfortunately for them, it may already be a case of too little too late. It's trailing by 4, now on attack. It's going to be really tough from here.
Yeah, and as we said before, it's really just now for Syke and Company. Can they scrap some rounds for that round differential? I mean, it feels almost impossible to envision they're going to be able to replicate what Daystar just did. But you got to give it a crack and see how you go. Not much really more to lose in this game now. Yeah, it has gone down. I wonder if he just got peeked at a doorway somewhere. Potentially a window, maybe just a little out of position. Finished off by the frag grenade. That's a good start for Syke and Company. You get rid of the smoke, get rid of the gas babes. Still 2 nitros though, and the Shamika launcher of Souffle on Tachanka. Actually, sorry, 3 nitros. Many of Denial still remaining with the defense, and more work to be done for Syke and Company. Love this Mez control from Azuki as well. Kind of in your face, denying good position. For reference, I already had Mez controlled by a minute 40 in the first half. Love the peek up. Does get the down onto Fang. Good trade by Joe Gore. The aggression of Azuki doesn't really pay off all that much. He did have a nitro as well. And that one doesn't connect via Seal. This site now is vulnerable. Syke and Company are in a very winnable position.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I've mounted good pressure in the round, and forcing plays like that from Pika. It's all about conversion from here. So much time. They can overwhelm the rest of this defense, and with the death mark onto Seal. Oh, surely he can't do much, but he does get one. Clean. Make it 2. They're back in the round. Kind of.
Nah, not quite. I mean, he gets the 2 kills, but by the end of those 2 kills, he was also left low on health. He needed Souffle to stay alive. Well, Syke and Company are going to get this second round, unless...
Behind. Yeah.
No, not quite.
Yeah, I saw the creep from the side of my eye over towards that Newbridge position, and unfortunately for Daystar, it was a success. Fortunately, though, for Syken, who are able to convert the round. Nice work on the attack. Maybe there's just something a little more in this matchup. Positive signs for them to kickstart this second half, and in a matchup where every single round, irrespective of the result, is important. They've done a good job there to put their best foot forward. They had the advantage with Yao dying first to the Deimos. It forced out some ultra-aggressive plays from Daystar, which were very low percentage. Seal up to 9 kills, but then caught in the backside during that clutch attempt.
As many bombs as they can.
it starts with 1 and yeah, feels that confidence a bit. I mean, if they had have been able to win round 6, it's a 4-3 scoreline game on, and momentum is theirs. They didn't, and so the gap is still quite wide. And I think in that round as well, I mean, Daystar also did a couple of little silly things with the runouts. They lost Yao early, didn't quite see how that pick was able to transpire.
10 seconds left.
So, I mean, you know that they can go back top floor and tighten the ship up and probably, you know, win that site.
Attackers must locate
But
and
I
defuse a
don't
bomb.
mind going basement here, try and get to 6 and then go back top floor. Again, a reminder for Daystar, all 3 points means that any win against Weibo on Playday 7 will see them take top seed going into finals. The hardest part about that is beating Weibo.
What do you
By
mean?
the way they're playing and the form they're in, I mean, who knows?
Yeah. It should be an even matchup. They got the same record, right? No, I think it's very much fair to say that they're potentially worlds apart, but maybe also not. It'll be a best of 1, so.
Well, I don't think it's worlds apart. We'll find out next week, but
maybe our definition of worlds is a little different. I don't think I'm not going in expecting Weibo to 7-0 them, but I'm also not anticipating Daystar to win the game. But
Up and running.
I think best of 3s is where it's really going to be the proper test. And given how much of a Farmers League Stage 1 has proven to be, a very fair assumption is we get a Weibo Daystar grand final for the top spot anyway. In the end,
I really,
one and only
I really
slot.
feel like Asia should have 2 slots. one for Weibo, one for Daystar, but unfortunately Weibo lost that privilege at the major.
Whoever makes it to EWC is going to fight hard to get it back for the region.
Zuki gets the trade quickly onto Neon after Fang got the opening pick. The Sycan Company are making headway pretty decently on this basement site. They get rid of Azuki as well. Yeah, I mean, this is...
They're not messing around. Like, they're actually playing with confidence here in the second half, which is good to see, and it's exactly what needs to be injected into the server. And they're just keeping Daystar on their toes and forcing some low percentage plays, which I didn't really anticipate. So a couple of early warning signs here, maybe for Daystar. A lot less to lose in this matchup, it must be said, but for Sycan, of course, under a lot more pressure to perform.
That's nice for Pika. Yeah, I think they've still got an extra couple of gears they can get back up to. I think they were in full gear in that first half, and I think coming into this second half, I wonder if it was a mindset thing. They just relaxed a little bit, thought that the game was maybe done. You've got to give the respect over to Sycan Company. They're playing really well on the attack. Even K-Sun here doing so well against Pika. Yao is able to clean up the Blackbeard. 12 seconds now for Sycan Company. Joe Gore's going to go for the plant. Yao will hold towards Toxin, gets rid of Cav. Joe Gore's now either going to decide to stick or go for the kill. He is going to stick. Yao's going to start to make his move, get a little bit closer. Plant will be successful. He's just not quite 100% sure where he is. Into the corner. Really well played from Yao. He clutches up for Daystar. Oh, that got really close. The 8th round, ultra spicy, but Yao able to clutch. And that's 6 on the board for Daystar. No longer Sycan Company can get all 3 points. Daystar will go back top floor, you'd imagine, looking to close this one out. But Sycan Company, yeah, showing a little bit here on the attack of Lair.
Yeah, I didn't get a proper chance really to look at all their cams there, but looking pretty dejected after that round. And I suppose, to be fair, when you're 6-2 down and you're losing a 3v1, it's a tough situation, but they need to try and remain upbeat and positive here and try to just extract as many rounds as possible, because it could be incredibly important. For Daystar, though, good clutch from Yao. Did a 1v3 successfully by isolating each of those attackers and then not giving away his life for free against Joe Gore in that 1v1. Peak with a bit of credit as well for the impact that he was able to have on the round. Right here, not a lot of time. It threw the attack into disarray a little bit. The coverage there of the plant was not great, played right into the hands of hands of Yao, who just problem solved the very end of that round quite nicely by not over-aggressing or over-committing to the swing. Didn't rush anything and was rewarded with his patience. 4 opportunities now to close it out in regulation for Daystar. Top 4 up next.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. We've played 2 rounds in this half. They've actually already tied the amount of plants that Daystar got in that first half, which is a strong indication typically of an attacking team that's able to do well. Just unable to close out that previous round and now need 4 straight to force overtime and get something from this. But even if they don't get 4 straight, even if it's, you know, another 2 or 3 rounds, if they could just close that round differential gap, it'd go a long way in helping their cause of still trying to make top 4. I mean, this is the other part as well. Once you go finals and you're playing best of 3s, your map pool needs to be, you know, very strong. This might not be a map for Psych & Company in future if they don't work on it ahead of finals, provided they make it. Zuki thinking about a bathroom jump out.
A bomb has been located.
But I think this is the kind of round now, if you're Daystar, you just think, let's lock in on this one. Just play it compact. Stay around the site. Don't need to do silly runouts. Yeah, deny space, which they've controlled the map, both attack and defense, so well.
Yeah, Pika there just peels off New Ridge instead of taking the reaggress back onto the Blackbeard. So a disciplined decision from him midpoint of the round. Space has been taken storage side by Syken as he tries to hold the back hit. Impact on the Rayora gate, but the line's held. He's so low on HP, still wins the fight. Once again, it hasn't been Joe Gore's day. Yep. 4 and 8.
Yeah.
It's been a rough stage.
Joe Gore gets baited into that because he knows he got Azuki very low. So he just wanted to keep trying to take that battle. Plus an entry position as well. I don't blame Joe Gore necessarily there. If anything, I thought Azuki was over aggressive considering he was on 5 HP.
He didn't have the percent.
That window.
Yeah, he just won the fight.
If play goes down to Calf, Yao now falls as well. Zuki got 1 more onto Feng. In fact, they trade each other. Another little headshot trade. Azuki, of course, was low in health, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway with the headshots. Now it's a 2v2. And a lot less utility as well for the defense. Still with Kason on the Blackbeard. Oh, lovely angle held by Calf. Pika going for the peak, and this leaves it down to Seal.
I think Seal might have the clutch gene here, 30 seconds, but it is the Blackbeard to contend with. Plank going down.
And Cass got the hold here. Oh, maybe not. Oh, he baits out the Blackbeard from getting off the plant. That is so well played from Seal. That is a magnificent play. Oh my goodness. Talk about game sense and understanding what's going to happen if I do this. The fact that he makes the cross, goes for the shooter who's covering, and knows full well at that point there's enough time on the clock. The Blackbeard's going to get off and go for the swing. I mean, amazing game sense, really. For Daystar to close it out in that fashion. 7-2 over Psych & Company. I wasn't expecting that scoreline. I was, though, expecting this result.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that sentiment. Some big clutch moments from Daystar, helping get them over the finish line in a very comprehensive fashion, and the stage now very much set for a big derby between themselves and Weibo in the final play day. And for Syken, they'll have to try and lick their wounds and pick themselves back up because their stage isn't over yet either. They'll have Soul's Heart in a few days' time, so an opportunity to recoup over the weekend, and hopefully they can take some learnings from this matchup. Whilst I don't think they made hugely egregious errors over the course of the map, there certainly were some that stood out, and if they can refine things, they'll certainly play better in that matchup, and as well can try and tap into another map in their pool as well, because Lair didn't look super comfortable for them. They just weren't quite able to activate some of those players that can have impact. And maybe that's a theme not so much just for this particular game, but also for the stage. Joe Gore, to me, just continues to stand out as a player that should be performing way better than he is, and unfortunately the numbers just aren't backing it up at the moment.
We have our interview ready with the ever fan favorite and our favorite as well. It's Harambe coming in for a chat. The old Harambe dance. Congratulations on the win. Very, very good. We are doing great. And obviously your boys did very good tonight. 7-2 against Psych and Company, who's had a pretty good stage so far. Harambe, they've been playing really well. You absolutely decimated, and that first half was sensational.
Yeah, we destroyed them.
Yeah, you did. Unfortunately for you, though, next week, Weibo obviously going to be probably not as easy of a game. How are you approaching that one, right? It's a best of one. It might not mean a whole lot. The seeding's probably not going to be hugely impactful because you guys are probably going to take each other on the grand final. Let's be real. So how do you prepare for that style of game that's a little bit strange in that regard?
We still want to fight for number 1 seed because it gives slight advantage going through the playoffs. So we still want to try, do our best, do the preps, play the game.
Harambe, just want to kind of talk about, I guess, the mindset shift that you guys will have, I guess, going into finals. I mean, obviously, you're going to still have to play Weibo, but as you want to win that. But going into finals, best of threes, you've only got the 1 slot. Are you going to change much up going into finals, or is it kind of just keep it the same based on what you've been doing so far this stage, which clearly has been working?
I think the mentality like this stage is so much different from before, because before we want to win against Weibo Gaming, but now we have to win against Weibo Gaming. So it's a big, I would say, drive for the players and also myself. Yeah, so we're gonna try our best.
Well, hopefully you can get over that hurdle. You get yourself a preview next week against them. Best of luck in that game, and of course, best of luck as well for finals to come in a few weeks' time.
Thank you.
Always lovely to chat with Harambe. 7-2 Daystar. Way too good tonight for Psych and Company. A little disappointed, guys. We kind of build the first 2 games as being really the close ones. Hopefully the next one will do a little bit better job at following that script. Team Orchid and Soul's Heart, like Psych and Company, of course, all vying for that top 4. Well, for Orchid and Soul's Heart, they get to go at each other tonight.
Yeah, the only thing separating the next 2 teams is 3 rounds over the course of the 5 maps that they've both played so far. So it's incredibly tight margins. It really should be a fight to the death in this best of 1, and it's going to have big implications heading into that final Play-Doh. So both will be giving it 110%.
All right, well, we're going to go to a short break. Huge game on the other side. The winner of this next game has a very high chance of making finals. We'll see who can come out on top.